The dead have long been known to leave clues of their presence by affecting the physical environment, imprinting images on various media. The ghost faces of Belmez in Spain from the 70s comes to mind, where multiple faces appeared on a concrete floor. Also, the skull experiments in Britain from the 90s, in which various film types were directly manipulated by the spirit world. In the modern world, this same supernatural effect can be found within digital media. The following is a collection of digital and analog photographs which seem to have caught anomalous entities. Laurie McGee describes the background to the photograph. My 3-year-old son was trying to take a picture of me. He didn't realize the camera was backwards. He took several photos within seconds of each other. I grabbed the camera back when he was done and started erasing the photos to make space. The first 2 images were blurry duds, but when I got the third picture, there was a startling face behind his. I've never seen this person in my life, and we were the only 2 home. And as you can see, the face behind the baby is very clear. So it's definitely not pareidolia. My only question is, was there a TV behind this little kid when this photo was taken? If there was no TV there, then that's a pretty serious photo of a spirit. This one was by Mike Morosky, and he says, I ran a non-profit coffee shop called Choices Cafe on the corner of 15th and Elm Streets. It had a huge sub-basement with a lot of old remnants and bottles. It was totally haunted. Many high school students engaged in service learning activities there. One night, we were outside the shop around a fire, and I took a picture of a young man. What came out shocked us. Okay, so it looks like we're looking at a guy who's standing directly behind the subject of the photo, and it does look creepy. Looks like a big old hunchback just standing there staring at the back of his head. But my problem with this photo is, to me, it looks more like the shadow of the subject, because it's in a similar sort of a position, and the lighting from the fire is directly opposite the shadow. I don't know what the face of the hunchback is. Just to trick the light, maybe. But I could be wrong. Maybe it's not a shadow. Maybe it is some evil hunchback just standing there for no reason. Who knows? This third photo is by Stephanie Ater. She says, I was in my kitchen with one of my kids. While she was eating, I took a picture of her and I posted it on Facebook. That's when people started asking me, who's the man in the background? Her and I were the only 2 in the home. I looked at the picture again, and you can see an older man looking around the corner of the pantry. Our house was built in 1877, she says. And as soon as I saw this one, I thought, pareidolia for sure. It just looks like plastic bags and pots and shadows, and it doesn't really even look like a person to me. Maybe like a cartoon-looking head of a person up the top, but it's just too natural looking for me. It just looks like junk in the pantry. And so we come to photo 4 by Ed Singler. My paranormal experience happened while I was standing at the top of my steps taking a photo of a framed picture I was selling online. You can see my legs and the steps in the reflection of the frame, and if you look closely, you can see the outline of a person's head as if they are standing in the stairway. I was the only person home when I took this photo. I remember feeling a cold chill on the back of my neck when I saw it, and I'm glad I didn't turn around. And if this guy hasn't just hoaxed this photo, so far it's my favourite, I think. Because if he's adamant that there was nobody in that stairwell, then what the hell is that? It's either a head or a balloon. I mean, I guess somebody could have just walked in and sort of thought, oh, wrong apartment, and then walked back out or something. But the door looks like it's shut, so I'm sure he would have heard a person walk in. You know, maybe he had music blaring or something like that, but either way, even if it's a real person, it's still pretty creepy. I'll give that one a tentative thumbs up. Photo 5 by Jennifer Owens. This picture was taken this past March in my house. I was the only person home. The shadow in the hallway was gone shortly after I snapped the photo. And when I first looked at it, I thought, yep, that looks like a person walking down the hallway. I mean, you can see the leg there. It looks like he's hunched forward and moving in that direction. But on closer examination, I mean, the leg looks like it's made up of a stool, the shadow of a stool, and the body looks like it's made up of the coats or the coat hanging up on the wall. So the lighting's coming from down the hallway a little bit and casting that shadow. But Jennifer claims that that shadow wasn't there after she took the photo. So if we can believe her, then I don't know. Possible. And photo 6 by Emily Cheney. I've always had a feeling that my house was haunted. Little things would happen here and there. I felt like someone was watching me. I would get random cold chills. The TV would randomly turn on or off. I would hear people talking. My family thought I was absolutely crazy. Then, a couple of years ago, my dog Roscoe randomly started growling. I had this weird feeling and I got cold chills. I decided to take a picture on my phone, and there it was, a man on my wall that looks like he has a receding hairline and a suit on. And now that she's described this random man, that's what you can see. You can see a receding hairline there. Looks like he's got a collared shirt on and a black suit. Can't really make out a face. I mean, this is just pareidolia, straight up. But if you take into account her story about the haunting, then perhaps it is something more. You know, if little Roscoe there, I love sausage dogs. If little Roscoe was growling at the wall for no reason and she took that photo, then, you know, it's something to consider. But also, I guess the other thing is, if it's a shadow, what's it a shadow of? What's causing the shadow? And to photo 7 by Yexum. This photo of my daughter and my stepfather was taken at Spring Grove Cemetery. My daughter is holding a fish and was the only child there, but you can see the figure of what looks like another child on the left side of the image. My stepfather passed away that night. This is one of the last photos of him. If we can trust what Yaxum tells us, and that there was actually no other kids in the area, then that is a thumbs up photo, because it's hard to deny that that is the profile of a young child, especially with the hair on the top. And also, I almost forgot the fact that the male in the photo, the stepfather, passed away that night. That kind of adds weight as well, because it's possible the little ghost boy might have been a type of supernatural foreboding. I don't know if that's the right word, but like the Irish banshee sort of gives warning of an impending death. It could have been something like that. And here in photograph 8, we've got a picture which was snapped in Manila in 2000. This shot reveals 2 smiling Filipinas, as well as a creepy spectre grabbing one of the girl's arms. And if this isn't a double exposure, then it's a pretty interesting picture. I'm not sure if to me it looks like it does look like he is grabbing the arm, but it kind of looks like it's further in front. I wonder if a double exposure could go in front of it, in front of the second image, if you know what I mean. And this guy, if he's, some sort of ghost, first of all, it looks like a male. He looks naked. And I swear it looks like he's checking out that woman's ass. Anyway, that's an interesting photo. Okay, let's move on to photo number 9. What was intended to be an innocent colour photo of Denise Russell's grandma in 1997 also shows a man behind her who bears a striking resemblance to grandma's husband, who had been dead since 1994. And this is, it's a clear photo, obviously not pareidolia, and it reminds me of another older photo, the Solway Firth alien photo. I reckon these two photos have a few similarities. Firstly, they're nice and clear. They were both taken with camera film. They're not digital, so it's a lot harder to manipulate them. Obviously, the anomaly is behind the head of the subject matter, and the anomalies look somehow out of perspective, especially the Solway Firth one, but they both look a little bit off, so I like that one. On to the next photo. This haunted house in Amityville, New York, was the subject of massive publicity in the 70s that eventually led to the film The Amityville Horror. Photographer George Lutz was sent out in 1976 to take pictures of the house, but it wasn't until he was looking over many rolls of film in 1979 that he discovered one, and only one, photo depicting a small, ghost-like boy. And how creepy is that photo? It reminds me very much of this one, with the glowing eyes. Both of them are kind of freaky. Not kind of freaky, very freaky. I remember a couple of years ago too, there was a photo in one of the old jails down in Sydney that came out in the news. And it was a photo of a ghost standing in one of the cells looking at the camera, and its eyes were lit up like that as well. And finally, I thought I might finish up with this classic photo, which I remember seeing as a kid, and I remember being impressed by it. It's known as the Ghost of Wem Town Hall, or the Wem Ghost, and it's only recently that I have discovered that it's a proven hoax. In 2010, a postcard from 1922 was found, with the image of a girl which matches exactly the Wem Ghost, as you can see. Well, that was a bit of fun. Hope you guys enjoyed it, and thanks for watching. See you next time.